Good morning. Hope everybody's well this morning. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm going to get right to it. First of all, I've been dealing with a bunch of personal stuff this week, and it has thrown my creativity, productivity way off. And so I want to be working on my book illustrations, but I really got to finish this Mistborn deck, and we're like 99.9% there, and I'll feel a whole lot better about my life if I can get this finished, get this Mistborn deck finished, and I'll feel like I'm productive again. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this. I'm about 50%. I'm almost done with the back design. That's all that I have left. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish that right now, first thing, and then we'll either, after I finish the Mistborn back, I'm either gonna go back and we'll work on some of my book illustrations, or we'll start a new Alice card. So that was just a full transparency. Let's do it. I know this may not be very exciting what I'm doing now, but maybe we could use this opportunity while I'm finishing this back design for you guys to possibly maybe ask me some Q&As while I'm doing this, and I'll try to answer them. This is pretty simple. It just is tedious, and I got to do it right quick. So if you have any questions about anything, feel free to ask them, and I will try to answer them. Do a little Q&A to try to make this monotonous task seem a little bit more interesting for both of us. To answer your question, Kenneth. What made me decide to do this specific deck was I love stories, I love fantasy, and Brandon Sanderson was a fantasy author that I like. I originally was going to do a deck based on his Stormlight Archives book series, which is a different book series. Takes place in the same, what he calls the Cosmere, which is like his universe that he's created. I was originally going to do a deck based on that, And I reached out to them and got the license, and they gave me the license. We agreed, and they gave me the license for it. However, I really hadn't done any work, and another fan had approached them to make a Stormlight Archive deck. And so they asked me if they could let this fan make the deck because they didn't want to step on my toes because I had already had the agreement. I was like, sure, that's no problem. And then I just said, is it possible for me to get another license, another IP from you guys that I can, just transfer my license? And I asked if I could do the Mistborn series because at the time I wasn't as familiar with the Mistborn series because at the time I hadn't even read it. But I knew about it because I was a fan of Sanderson, and I knew it was another really kind of rich IP. And they were like, sure, Mistborn works. And so that's what kind of how I made the transition from Mistborn to this. See, this stuff is lining up. Doesn't seem like it's lining up. All right, Andrew asks, as a kid or teenager, what is the best memories you recall? Man, one of the best memories as a kid that I can remember is one summer. I'm trying to think about how old I was. I think I was like eighth grade. So what am I? I'm like 13, 14. I got to go to this survival wilderness camp that was at, this thing is not centered up and it's annoying me. I got to go to this survival wilderness camp at Colorado Springs, the Air Force Academy. And I had such a blast at that. And that was probably one of the best memories that I had when I was a kid. Now, granted, my favorite holiday when I was a kid, and still almost to this day, I love 4th of July. And I remember I loved 4th of July when I was a kid. When I was a kid, basically, my parents both worked. And so I was a latchkey kid growing up. And in the summer, for sure, I basically would leave the house in the morning, get on my bicycle, and I would ride all over town, and I wouldn't come back until like dinner time. And in the summer times, I'd go to the pool, the city pool, and I would just ride all over the place. I'd rule that place. And those were some of the best memories. Just the freedom and, hanging out in the summer, doing what I wanted. Going to the park for 4th of July, eating hot dogs, hamburgers. Yeah, those are my best memories. But that survival camp that I went to was probably my best memory. It was such a cool experience. Because I remember it too was around 4th of July. And I remember one night we camped out, and we were doing this backcountry hike, and it was time for us to like make our camp and stuff like that. And we were close. We were close to this really big. If you've ever been to Colorado Springs, you drive up the interstate. I can't remember which one it is. I don't know what interstate it is, but there's an interstate that basically goes north and south, and basically, goes through Colorado Springs, goes through Denver, and as you're going through Colorado Springs, you can look to your left as you're heading north. You can look to your left and you see the Rocky Mountains, and the interstate kind of follows the Rocky Mountains. And so it was July 4th when we were doing this backcountry trek, and if you've ever been to Colorado Springs, there's that the Rocky Mountains are right there, and you can see them from the town, you can see them from the interstate. And so we were camping, and we were literally on the ridge of the Rocky Mountains, right there by Colorado Springs. And when we made camp that night, we were in the national park, and we made camp on top of this huge rock, granite rock cliff face. Just this huge rock, and I think they called it, I can't remember what they called it. It was like Thunderhead Rock. I really don't remember. But it was this huge rock, and it overlooked Colorado Springs. And so we were all in our sleeping bags on top of this huge rock, granite cliff rock face, on top of the Rocky Mountains, overlooking Colorado Springs on the night of July 4th. And so we're way above the city, and we can see for 40 miles or more. I mean, granted, it's dark, but as we're sitting there on this rock, just enjoying the view of the city at night, all over the city, fireworks start going off, like fireworks shows, and not only like legit fireworks shows, but like people popping their fireworks at their houses. And so we're above all of these fireworks shows, and we can see every fireworks show in the city from this huge rock. That was a good memory. That was a good memory. So that was a good question. Still matching up over here? Yeah, we're still matching up. Oh, it was way better. It was so much better than a scene from a movie. It was awesome. It was so surreal when it happened. Yes, this has probably been asked, but oh, Laura, you see, this has probably been asked, but have you always been a drawer since a little tyke? Were you the type of kid that drew on walls with crayons, markers, etc., that needed to create or express himself? Well, the first part, the first answer to your question was yes. I've always been a drawer. I started drawing very early. I started drawing when I was 2. And when I was 2 years old, I don't know if you know this, but when I was 2 years old, this is a totally true story. When I was 2 years old, I choked on a piece of a corn dog. And I aspirated on it. And part of the corn dog went down into my right lung. And long story short, my right lung gets infected. I get pneumonia, and my right lung deflates and collapses. And from like when I was 2 years old to 3 years old, I basically spent my entire 2 to 3 year life for about 9 months in the hospital with pneumonia and all kinds of respiratory problems. And because of that corn dog, when I was 2, I had to have my right lung, I don't know if amputate's the right word, but when I was 2, I had to get my right lung taken out because of that stupid corn dog, which now that I tell the story, it's freaking hilarious. But, and it happened so long ago that I don't really remember. However, but that part of the story leads to when I was in the hospital for that long period of time. That's when I started to draw because I couldn't get up, I couldn't do anything, and so that's when I started to draw. And I remember it vividly that I would sit in the hospital bed and I would draw things like, I loved drawing pirate ships and castles. And I remember drawing pirate ships and castles for months. And while I was in the bed drawing, I was watching old Sean Connery, well, it's not just Sean Connery, but old James Bond marathons on the TV in the hospital. So I have these memories of starting to draw, very first drawing, watching James Bond marathons in the hospital. I love corn dogs. And obviously that incident has led to, I also have severe asthma and really bad allergies. And so not having one lung, severe asthma, and a lot of allergies has led to kind of all the health issues that I've had over my life when it comes to respiratory systems. So, but that answers your question. Yes, I've always been a drawer. I would draw castles. My favorite things to draw when I was a kid were like castles, pirate ships. I would draw like tall ships. I would draw tall ships every day. I don't remember. Now my parents could say no, that didn't happen, or that did happen, but I don't remember ever drawing on the wall or anything like that. Let's just say this: my dad was, let's just say, pretty strict, if you know what I mean, and that would be something that would not have been allowed, me drawing on the walls. So I'm not ready for this song yet. But great questions. Keep them coming. Is he saying freaking? Freaking? Remember how much I loved to draw that pirate ship for the Peter Pan deck? That was so much fun. Any plans to do a sci-fi deck? I love sci-fi. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't do a sci-fi deck. I think just the right story. You know, I really want to do a Dune deck, but it's kind of one of those things of I gotta have a license, and I haven't gone through the process of trying to get the license for Dune. But I would love to do a Dune deck. And at the same time, you know, there is, you know, I'd love to do a Dune deck. And interestingly enough, my fantasy novel, there is a version of the story, and it's not really a version of the story. It's like I started writing this sequel to it. And when I say started writing, I mean just like outlining and jotting down ideas. But in my head, my whole story of The Way of Hammer and Steel, there are a few prequel books that kind of go over some of the original history of, you know, the universe and everything that how it kind of came to be, the histories. And then there's the three main books, the ones that I've been talking about and illustrating. And then there is a set of books that take place tens of thousands of years after the kind of medieval setting takes place. And I haven't really got to this point in the story yet, but there's like this magical tree in my story that you get introduced to in the chapter 2, and it plays a really big part. I mean, it doesn't play a big part, but it plays a specific part in the story. And these sequel books that take place tens of thousands of years later. So the three main books are like fantasy, and then these sequel books are sci-fi books that take place 10,000 years later, as if you're still in this world, but it's 10,000 years later when you've gone from a medieval setting to a futuristic setting. But it's all the same story. It's all the same kind of story arc. It's all the same, like, characters, magic systems, all that kind of stuff. And so, like, I've always had this kind of love-hate relationship with, doing somebody else's story, like, say, Lord of the Rings, or this deck here, or even like doing any kind of licensed material. Yes, from a business standpoint, it could be really great, and that's why people like, that's why companies like Theory 11 do it. I mean, that's why companies like Theory 11 just pump out basically the exact same deck that looks just alike, but for like Marvel and Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. Great business decision. And if they're paying for that license, I'd do the same thing probably. But for me, like, I have this love-hate relationship with doing like licensed stuff, because on one hand, I'm getting to do something fun that I've enjoyed in the past. Now, this may be a little bit different than with Lord of the Rings, but say like with Mistborn. What I've found with like Mistborn is like, I really like Mistborn and I like Brandon Sanderson, but I would rather be doing my own stories and making my own, working on my own deck or my own story than, doing someone else's ideas. Now that it doesn't mean that I am not going to do licensed stuff in the future, because, if there's a good opportunity, I still run a business. And if I see a good opportunity that kind of crosses, that makes a cross section of something that I like and enjoy and am inspired by, and at the same time I can make some money doing it, of course I'm going to do it. But just creatively and motivationally, I find much more inspiration in doing my own stuff than other people's stuff. And I think Lord of the Rings is a kind of a special case, just because it's basically my favorite. It's my favorite. I grew up on it. It's kind of one of those magnum opus type things. So. And the cool thing about that idea of the sequels being in a sci-fi setting, it's a pretty cool story too. It's kind of set, it's in the future, and you have this character. You basically have like the lineage, or like basically the ancestor of the main character from the medieval story. The main character in this medieval story, The Way of Hammer and Steel, the one that I've been talking about and illustrating, is Merrick, that boy. And in the main 3 books, you kind of follow his life, his coming of age, him becoming who he is. And the sci-fi version is basically him, his descendant, thousands and thousands of years later, or at least that's the way it is in my head. And the cool thing about it is, and I mentioned that magic tree because in chapter 2 of the medieval book, the fantasy book, you're introduced to this magic tree and you find out its importance, blah, blah. Well, you don't really find out its importance, you're introduced to it. That tree follows, and in the fantasy series, that tree is in a forest, in the middle of a forest, on this beautiful planet. And in the science fiction thing, this tree is like by itself underground, and it's like basically built around in a subterranean like city, and this tree is like hidden within this subterranean temple that's basically like a temple that has been created by the descendants of this main character that have created like this almost like a Jedi Knight school almost. That's the best way to explain it. But the descendants of this main character have this like underground group of kind of like assassins, but they're good. And in the middle of their temple is like this old weathered tree that's in this like weird, it's like in this like subterranean temple. And it's like, Well, I could just draw a picture because I can explain a lot easier. So you've got this tree. So you got this tree in the middle, like this. Horrible tree. It looks like a mushroom. Sorry. You've got this tree, and then there's like this piece of ground that they've transplanted, and it floats on like this big, like planter base that's like just hovering there, or somehow they have like pipes and stuff and whatever, and then around it is like this metal walkway that's in like this subterranean temple. I don't know. That's what it looks like. But I haven't really done much with that story yet. I've just been kind of thinking about it because I like sci-fi too, and why not do a sci-fi book one day and just continue the story that I've written. Good questions. I started doing the legal tender puzzle yesterday. It is a blast. It's hard, but it's a blast. Comes to Sundance. Oh wow. It's not that because I'm not on that playlist. Sorry about that, Griffin. Did I open up the rest of my... there's a few of my collection boxes that I have not opened up yet. And I haven't opened them up mainly because I have a tendency to like open boxes and then not do anything with them and just leave them there sitting. I think I got a puzzle of it. Let me see if I got a picture of it. I thought I did. There's me. There's a picture of me starting the puzzle. Let's see here. Do you still have chickens now that you've moved to Tennessee? If so, what's your favorite part? If not, do you plan on starting raising chickens again? I do not have any chickens here, and I'm very sad. I love raising chickens. They're super fun. When we were in Austin, I had about 54 chickens. It was a blast. Obviously, I had way more eggs than I needed. But I like the process of learning how to raise animals like that. And that just plays into that scripture verse that I put on all my decks of cards, that 1 Thessalonians 4:11. the ending of that verse says, you know, the ending part of that verse says, uh, learn, basically work with your hands, mind your own business. Uh, and and then it says so that you're not dependent on anyone. Uh, and so I love to I love to teach myself new skills. And anytime I teach myself a new skill, I try to teach myself a skill that gives me the ability to, what's the word? Let me keep my music playing here. Anytime I teach myself a new skill, I try to teach myself a skill that allows me to do one more thing, uh, to do one more thing by myself, to where I can be less dependent on other people, whether it's going to the grocery store or, making something, making something instead of having to buy it. And, you know, one of the things I like about raising chickens and especially just like animals in general, especially animals that produce something for you, that's just that's one more way that I can learn how to do something that makes me not dependent on someone. And what I mean by that is like I can literally produce my own food, and I'm not dependent on someone else. Like there's this whole thing about, like there was like last week, there was this whole thing in the United States about the meat, the meat industry being hacked and ransomed. And there's going to be a meat shortage, which there's probably going to be a meat shortage in the United States over the next, few months. But I don't get my meat at the grocery store. I've built relationships with local farmers here where I live, and I get my, meat directly from local farmers. And so I'm not dependent on, the grocery store system to get my meat. And so that kind of concept of me not being dependent on people or others is something that I like, and that's one thing that I liked about chickens. I do plan on getting chickens. The only thing is where we live right now, our house and property is not really conducive to chickens because we live on this really steep hill and it's not flat and all kinds of stuff. So hopefully when we move, which we're planning on, hopefully moving and getting some land and a little bit flatter where my kids can play, we'll get some chickens again. Now I could probably get chickens here if I wanted to, but it's just a little bit more of a hassle than anything. And also I haven't got chickens yet because lumber's so expensive and me building a coop would cost so much. So I'm kind of waiting for lumber prices to go back down, if they do, before I build a chicken coop. My kids love chickens. It's funny that those chicken videos on my YouTube, those old chicken videos on my YouTube channel, those are my most viewed YouTube channel videos. That's why I haven't deleted them, because they're my most viewed monthly. Like they don't get tons of views, but every month they always get more views than any of my King's Wild videos still. Good questions. Keep asking questions. Those are good. And it's making this task a lot better. And I'm almost finished with it. The only thing I have to do after this is kind of put together the tuck case, which is going to be pretty simple. Am I still planning on doing a Bible deck? Yes, I'm still planning on doing a Bible deck. I feel like that the Bible deck will probably come after Lord of the Rings, just so I make sure to finish it, because I want to do kind of the same kind of breadth of design work for the Bible deck as I do for Lord of the Rings. Yeah, that making fodder video is that's one of my most viewed videos. I think that is my most viewed video. But you could use that process that I show in that video to like make microgreens for yourself. Even if you don't have chickens, you can use that process to make microgreens for yourself. All right, we're almost done with this. I just need to duplicate over the rest of this stuff to the other side. Make sure it's matched up all right. Looks pretty good. Looks like it's off just a little bit. What other questions do you guys have? Any targeted release month date for Mistborn? Yes, Griffin. I would love to be able to release Mistborn. I would say August. But here's the thing. It's kind of one of those things of like, there's some details to it that determine. The things that are determining the release date for Mistborn are as such. First of all, I got to finish it, which we're almost done with. Then I got to get it approved. I got to get everything approved, which we're pretty much finished with the approval process. And then I have to get them produced because I want to do a print run of them before I release them so that I can have finished final products to take pictures of, because with this foil, the way I'm doing the foil, it's just going to look so much better if I have actual products to take pictures of instead of me doing like a comp. And so there's that. So that's going to be, a month to make them, and then it'll take, a few days for them to ship them to me. And then at that point, once they're finished, then I have to kind of coordinate with Brandon Sanderson of like when they can promote it within their schedule, within like their own existing release schedule, because, even though you guys know about me and people in the playing card world know about me, the majority of the Mistborn fans don't know who the heck Jackson Robinson is. And so the way that this project is successful, the way it makes, the way it's profitable, is I have to have Sanderson promote it himself. And so once I have everything finished and all of the promotion material finished, I kind of have to wait on him to kind of where within his release schedule that he can promote it, because I'm going to wait to release it when he can promote it as much as he can, because that's the way it's going to be the most successful. And I've already spent a lot of time and I've spent a lot of money, paying Greg to do the illustrations, that I want to make sure that, I'm in a business, I'm a businessman too. I want it to be as successful as possible. So I want to make sure that I'm patient and release it when they're ready for it. I need to make sure that which direction this middle rune goes. Okay, so it goes to the upper left. So I need to flip this one. Matthew, you got it right. I mirrored this earlier today, and so I now have to flip this one. I didn't rotate it like normal because for some reason my design wasn't quite symmetrical. And then I flipped it so that it would be symmetrical. So now I gotta flip this one back. Just gotta touch it up a little bit here. Now, I need to touch up this background right here. Take this little scratch out because it's mirrored. What has been my most difficult deck to create? Let's see here. It's a good question. What is this? Brain dance. Let's see what this music is. What was my most difficult deck? Let's see. I think trying to think. So far, my most difficult deck. That's a good question. I'm trying to think about what aspects of the different decks that I've done have been difficult. You know, so far, I think so far Alice in Wonderland is proving to be very difficult only because it's really pushing myself in terms of, you know, illustrative matter. You know, because I'm an artist and I'm a human being. I'm very, you know, I'm very self-conscious about my art, and you know, I don't really believe, you know, this may ruffle some feathers, but I think I would say 99.9% of the world population, I don't really believe in talent. I don't believe in talent in the sense that, you know, I think that there, you know, let me preface this, and that's why I say 99.9% of the world. Like say, like with singing, there's some people that their voices just suck and they can't sing. And there's some people that their voices do not suck and they can sing. And so there's like that kind of aspect of that, but I don't really consider that talent. I just consider that, you know, you were given, you were born with the ability to sing good. Now, when it comes to a skill like drawing and something that can be learned, I don't believe in talent, because anybody that you know, and I would challenge anybody to do this. If you think that someone, and this is like with drawing specifically, and this could be kind of, transplanted on a lot of things, like skill-based things. whether it's basketball, archery, holding your breath underwater. I don't know. If it's a skill-based thing, I challenge you. I'm not saying, prove to me that I'm wrong. I'm just more saying, I challenge yourself to do some research and think about it. But like, if you think of anybody that you would normally say, wow, that person's really talented, they can do this X, Y, and Z really good, I bet you more than likely that what you're perceiving as talent is them practicing a lot. And oh, Eddie Van Halen, he's very talented. He can play, he was able to play the guitar incredibly. You're right. He was very good at playing the guitar. But Eddie Van Halen also practiced the guitar like 14 hours a day. And he probably practiced the guitar 14 hours a day from like the point he was like, 12 years old. So I challenge you to like think about anybody that is incredibly good at a skill-based thing. And when the world says that they're talented, find me someone that you would say is talented and very good at a skill-based thing that doesn't practice or that doesn't do that thing a lot. And this goes back to the 10,000 hour rule. I read this book called Outliers that kind of talks about that. It talks about kind of the myth of the word talent and the 10,000 hour rule and stuff like that. And I talk about that because, you asked me about, it was something about, drawing or something. Oh, it was the most difficult deck. Like I'm real self-conscious about my art. I'm good at drawing. I'm really good at drawing some things because, I practice at it. But I'm not as good at drawing other things like people and things. And I'm very self-conscious about that, especially like people. And there are artists that I love. Some of my favorite artists, like these conceptual artists and stuff, that are just incredible at drawing people. And most of the world would say, oh, they're very talented. I don't believe in that. I think it's a bunch of crap. Like those people that I look up to, like when it comes to like figure drawing and conceptual drawing, they like eat, drink, and sleep drawing people. And they do it so much that they basically can just like breathe it and it happens. But it's only because they do it so much. And I mention that because the Alice in Wonderland deck has been one of the hardest ones so far, and I've only done like 2 cards because because I don't feel like that I'm as good as I want to be with drawing people. And so I want to push myself to do it better. And I'm not dogging you, Cashmere, but I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in, I do believe in opportunity. And I believe in opportunity in the sense that, I think success is tied with, not social opportunity, because that's a whole nother bag of beans that I don't want to open, but people being able to take risks and seeing opportunities and seizing them. But I don't believe in, with some genetic stuff, yes, there is a case to be made for genetics, but at the same time, even the genetic stuff can be overcome for the most part with practice and training. Now I'm not saying if you have one leg, you're going to be a world-class marathoner. You could be a good marathoner, but whatever. And that's why I'm qualifying it for the most part, especially and the majority of what I'm talking about has to do with art specifically and drawing. Because I followed this guy. This was years ago. This was a decade ago. But his name is, let me see if I can find his website. His name is Jonathan Hardesty. And I followed this guy. He's got a website now, and he's a teacher. But I followed this guy a decade ago. And he was in like this dead-end job that he hated in a cubicle, and he hated it. And the guy couldn't even draw stick figures. And he basically started a blog site where he drew something every day, and he tried to start getting better and tried to start developing his skills as an artist. And you can follow his blog, and he can't draw stick figures, and he just keeps doing it. And like 6 years later, he's like a world-class artist. And that's what I mean by, like, I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in, especially with art, I don't believe in genetics. I don't believe in any of that kind of stuff, because it is a skill that if you practice and you practice the muscle memory, that you can get it, and you can become proficient at it and get better at it. Because it is just a skill-based thing of me seeing something in front of me and telling my hand what to do, and my hand doing what my brain is telling it. And it's just a muscle memory and a skill that you develop. And even like with me, like doing Dawn's Are the Light, like my skill level of, like, especially like with drawing people and drawing things, I was already pretty good, I hope, going into that. But even when I started the Dawn's Are the Light just in December, like my ability to draw things like people and stuff like that, my skill level with like drawing people and drawing things has gone up. It has shot up a huge amount since I started Dawn's Are the Light, only because I'm forcing myself to do it, 4 or 5, 6 hours a day. When before I was just kind of doing it willy-nilly, and I would do it maybe maybe 2 hours a day or 1 hour a day. So just my time and practice hours are just going way up. I don't know. You say anything is attainable within reason. I don't even know about that. I think there's part of that could be, I don't know. I mean, yes, you can't. Yes, I can't fly. Yes, I can't. No, I can't, travel in space without a pressurized suit. Yes, within reason, but I don't know. I think that if you practiced enough, and I'm not going to say it like some like cat poster where, like, if you put your mind to it, anything's possible, which, I would put it like this. If you're willing to go through the pain and suffering and, forsaking everybody in your life and having a social life and having things that you do, I think anything is possible. Especially skill-based stuff. I mean, you could ask my wife, like with my drawing and stuff, like, I don't do much of it. I don't do much anything else. Like, I spend time with my family, but other than that, I am like, I can't function if I'm not drawing. And to the point of which, like, this is what I do all the time. And let me see if I get this to match up. looks like the edge is a little bit off. We're almost finished with this. Super pumped. Absolutely. It maybe have something to do with genetics, whatever. But if you think about pro athletes, kids, like one of the things they talk about in Outliers, that book I was talking about, which is fascinating, is the first chapter talks about sports. And the whole book is based on like redirecting everything back to the concept of like 10,000 hours to develop something and become a master at something. And then they refer to that as, you know, in the first chapter they talk about sports, and the author goes through and looks at different sports around the world. So like, you know, like, and he starts with like ice hockey in Canada. And a lot of it's like cultural, but these cultural developments have bred the ability, and you could say opportunity, for certain people to get to 10,000 hours before other people. And so like a good example is like the first chapter talks about ice hockey, and he's talking about like the Stanley Cup. And what he does is he explains, like, he takes like the radio transcript of the play-by-play of like the Stanley Cup, and he replaces people's names. You know, like this person passes to this person passes to this person scores. He replaces their name. He replaces their name with their birth month. And because of the way that the ice hockey system is set up in Canada, starting with like Little League ice hockey with like kids, most sports are broken up into, you know, age groups. And those age groups are broken up into what month you were born in. And you always hear the adage of like, oh, he's big for his age, or that kid's big for his age, or he's got good genetics. When 9 times out of 10, it's not that he's big for his age. He's the right size for his age. He's just older than everybody else. And so like with this radio announcement, like where this experiment that he did with the play-by-play, he replaced people's names with their birth month, and it would sound something like this. You know, February passes to January, January passes back to February, February passes to March, March passes back to January, January passes to January, January passes to February. And then out of that long line of people, like maybe one of them would squeak through, and it's like January passes to February, February passes to October, and you're like, what, October? But the way that the Little League ice hockey system is built in Canada is that it's broken apart by age and month, and it's and their leagues are broken up from January to December. And so all those kids that are born early on that make that age bracket, they get to start, you know, they start in an age bracket earlier. And so you could have a kid that's born in January that's in the same league as a kid that's born in December. And for a kid that's, you know, for a 7-year-old, that could be a huge difference, you know, genetically or in their body development, to where you're like, oh, that kid's big for his age. No, he's not really big for his age. He's just huge because he's a year older. And those kids would usually make the A team. They would be put in the higher tiered leagues that would get the better coaches, that would get more ice time. And the same thing with like soccer, especially with soccer, very much similar with soccer. And it's not so much when you were born or whatever. It's basically like those kids end up getting more ice time. And because they get more ice time, by the time that they're of the age of where they're going into the NHL, they've had the opportunity to get 10,000 hours. And by that time, they're masters, and they're really good at what they do. And it really doesn't have anything to do with genetics. Now, there's the rare occasion where you've got some, like, I'm not going to say freak kid, but you have got some kid that's like, he's like 7 and he's like 6'4", and he's got like a beard and a mustache. I remember when I was a kid, we played football, and we were like in this like 6th or 7th grade, and we played this school, and I was like a 6th or 7th grader, and I remember there was this lineman that was he was a 7th grader, and he was like 6'4", 250, and he had like a full beard, and I'm like in the 7th grade, and I'm like, what is going on? It's like, this kid, he's been held, like I was waiting for him to like wave at his kids in the stands, and I'm like in the 7th grade. All right, I think I'm finished with this. Let me just take a look at this. All right, let me just clean up some of this stuff that I saw here. I hope that for you as well, Kashmir. Like, I would say this to anybody, but I think that, I would try to surround yourself with people that, encourage you and inspire you to do what you want, like what you're passionate about. And I don't like the term like follow your passion, stuff like that. I don't know. I think it's so, people want to follow their passion, but for the majority of the most part, they don't want to. Like, following your passion sucks sometimes, because following your passion involves an extreme amount of heartache and work. Why can I not? I need to save. I think this just crashed on me. Like, following your passion sucks most of the time because it involves an extreme amount of work, an extreme amount of discipline and dedication. And most people that, and I'm not saying that you're this person, I'm just saying this is what I learned through life. For the most part, people that want to follow their passion, they don't want to go through what I call the suck. I did a podcast. I was a guest on a podcast a month or so ago, and I was talking about the concept, the suck. And most people don't want to embrace the suck about it. And because the only way you can really follow your passion, or whatever you want to call it, is just by producing a lot of content. And what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is based on art and creativity. But I think that it could be relayed to any kind of industry or passion, or whatever you want to call it. For the most part, people don't want to embrace that suck and go through the heartache and pain that it takes. Because the reality is, if you want to follow your passion, or for whatever you want to call it, you're going to have to give up a lot of stuff. Like, I don't have a social life. I don't have a social life. I've worked full time since I was like 19. Like, when I was in college, my college experience was, I didn't do anything. All I worked and was married. But, one thing that I've learned is a good barometer of someone that's not, I don't want to say wasting their life, because I feel like that's a pretty generalizing statement. Anytime I run as far away from people, if they say things like, "Oh, I can't wait till Friday," or I hate Mondays," or TGI Friday, let's go out this weekend, I'm so glad it's Friday, blah, blah, blah. I run as far away from those people as fast as I can, because people that work and tread out during the week to get to Friday, and people that hate Mondays because like, oh, I got to go back to work. I hate Mondays, blah, blah, blah. Those people are, in my opinion, for the most part, are wasting their lives because they are, you got 7 days a week and you're wasting 5 of those days a week doing something that you don't enjoy or that you don't love. And, people are like, well, I got to pay bills. I got to have, blah, blah, blah. I got to pay bills. You're right. You got to pay bills. I have to pay bills. But in the end, like what's better? I've missed payments. I've missed bills. I've been late on bills before. I've been broke. I've been broke. I've been really broke. Just about, what's worse, missing a house payment or living 40 years of your life with living 40 years of your life in misery and depression, I don't know. We're getting pretty deep now. I'm getting distracted, but that's okay. I like it. I like you guys. Let me just see here. I think this is good to go. So what I need to do is create my opaque white layer for this card. I need to do the opposite. There we go. So that's my opaque white. And everything that's gray. Yeah, like, I've been a professional artist. I mean, for almost 2 decades, really. Well, like 15 years. And for the first 12, 13 years, I was just kind of like holding on by the skin of my teeth to make it, to pay bills and stuff like that. And it hasn't been just until recently where I feel like that I've found some quasi success. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't, in the beginning, it was hard for a lot of years. All right, so these are my opaque things. All right, let's take these. Let's open up our master file here. I got a funny story. We talk about skill-based things. There's a game in the United States called cornhole. Okay. And when I lived in Austin, people in Texas, and even people, it's I don't know if it's global. I definitely know that it's kind of a thing that a lot of people in the South play. But it's called cornhole, and it's basically like, it's kind of like horseshoes where you stand 20, 30 feet apart from the other person. And you got this little slanted board that has a hole in it, and you throw a beanbag from the other side, and you try to make it in the hole. So I sucked at cornhole. Okay. I played it a few times, and I only started playing cornhole recently, like in the past 5 years. I sucked at cornhole. Wasn't any good. And my competitive nature came out, and I was like, you know what? I want to get good at cornhole. And so, first of all, I built a cornhole board, and it's the dopest cornhole board ever. Like, it's way over-engineered. It's awesome. And I made my own bags. Like I made my own bags. I weighed them out. I sewed them, everything. And so I just started. I literally. This is so funny, but I literally, for about 6-7 months, I devoted about an hour a day. This is so ridiculous that I did this. I devoted an hour a day to going out in my backyard and just practicing cornhole. And I would just throw the beanbags over and over again. And it was kind of therapeutic for me more than anything. But long story short, I got real good at cornhole. and my friends, you know, we would all play cornhole and stuff like that. And then I got really good at cornhole. And then I invited all my friends over, like probably like 50 guys. You know, I invited my friends, and then I had them invite their friends, kind of that thing. And we had about 50 people. And I made like 5 or 6 sets of cornhole boards. And I wanted to have a cornhole tournament. And so I had all these guys come over. And let me just say this. I absolutely destroyed in that tournament. There was like 50 people. I didn't lose a single match. And I felt like it was such a great achievement in my life. Yeah, Griffin's right. Don't trust the guy that comes with his own cornhole bags. Mine were awesome. Mine have like the King's Wild logo on them. My cornhole bags are like black, and they've got like a gray King's Wild logo on it, and then I splattered red paint on them to look like blood, and I call them the Dominators. But anyways. All right, let me make sure I got this correct. This is the opaque white layer. CMYK. Let's group this. Back design. All right, let me take this. All right, that looks good. All right, let me make sure I save this. Okay, that's saved. All right, let's go through this and make sure we've got everything. Let me stand up right quick and stretch. Sorry. Okay. Now let's proof this a little bit here. All right, we got the back design. We got the CMYK. This needs to be CMYK. CMYK opaque. Okay. Let's put the jokers up here. I need to change one thing about the jokers that I saw. What I want to do is I want to make I want to make sure that, let me do this right quick while I'm thinking about it. I want to make sure that the shards they don't fade to transparent. It's natural born talent. That's funny. Okay. Okay, got that fixed the way I wanted it. What are the questions you guys got? Okay, I need to fix the other one. Bro, you talk a big game, Chris, about coming to help us. You ain't helped us yet. You got to come and help us, bro. We're about to start making all the cut decks. Well, we're making them right now. You should come and help us make the cut decks. You talk, talk, talk. You talk, talk, talk. I'm not done with the puzzle yet. I'd probably say we're 50% done. It's hard. It's a hard puzzle. I was like, whoever designed this made this hard. That reminds me, I gotta go pick up my I gotta pick up all the pieces before my toddler wakes up, or she's gonna scatter the pieces. All right, we got that. That's updated. All right, there was a few other things I wanted to change. After kind of looking at it, I wanted to put these coins over here with parchment because you kind of lose them. I did that with one of the other ones. Gonna have to do it manually because I've already kind of merged all these layers. You know what? I haven't really thought about when we're going to release the church deck. I think the church deck we're releasing on our website maybe next month. I can't remember. It's definitely a deck that we're kind of like, it's not one of our high priority decks because it's not our own. And we're making sure that we give Eric Church and their camp enough time to sell theirs if they want, so we don't kind of step on their toes. And so we'll probably release them next month, I'm guessing. But as soon as I know, you guys will probably know because we'll make some kind of announcement about it. Oops. we go. That's kind of what I wanted to do. That's better. That's better. Not sure what your question is, Mike. Let's see here. Duplicate that around. Now let's merge those. Thanks for reminding me, Chris. I have to pick gilding colors for the meat deck. Okay. All right, I think that's good. Let me just make sure CMYK. Let me tap this CMYK. CMYK. Opaque. All right, let's go back. Let's check everything. Let's do it once over. Joker 1, Joker 2, back design. All right, spades. K, spade, Rashek. It looks good. Opaque white layer. Queen of spades, Steel Inquisitor. Spade. Opaque white layer. Jack spades, Koloss. Opaque white layer. Ten. Opaque. 8 or 9. Okay, good. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. Ace. Hearts. Queen. have not eaten at Jenkins yet. I like that copper color. Yes, Jack of Hearts was different. This character, he's this way in the beginning. Spoiler alert. I've paused enough for the spoiler alert. This character, Marsh, he's this character. And if you don't want to hear this, don't listen. It's a spoiler. He's this character in the beginning, then he becomes the Steel Inquisitor later on. Don't get mad at me if I spoiled it. Okay. That was actually their idea, which is, I think, is pretty cool. Okay. All right. Okay, good. David, when are you going to do another cut deck for me, bro? I need some more. I need some more cut decks. All right. Diamonds look good. Clubs. All right. Good. I would love to see a cut deck cut. I think it'd be cool to have like that stake kind of like forefront and then have like the other Ghibli bits. I just like to cut decks. I'm trying to, that's like my new hobby is I'm collecting cut decks. But not all cut decks are created equal. I happen to think that David's cut decks are quite nice, actually. And I'm just giving all these people that do cut decks plenty of time to do their thing before I start making some. Let's delete that. All right, looks like everything's good to go. Hit save. All right, let's do. Let's put together the tuck case. Let me open up my favorite program of all time, Illustrator. Build the Illustrator quick. No, I don't want to. All right, which one of these tuck cases do I need? This is going to be double foil laminated. So we need the double foil laminated tuck case template. It's going to be a pretty simple tuck case. I'll show you the concepts that I did. They really liked. And I think it looks well. I think it goes really nice inside the the real detailed tuck case book box. So here's the book box pictures that I did. This is the book box sample that I did, and I have to change some of the wording a little bit on the book box. But it's kind of like a silver certificate tuck case, to where it's basically that same material with like a silver outline. It says Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn playing cards by Jackson Robinson. But I don't know if you can notice, I've got like this, a darker gradient that just prints over the deck. I think that would be cool. So it's very simple. So let's go ahead and knock that out. Get my template file here. I need the double enlarged tuck case for double foil lamination. Okay. We're going to pick a dark blue. And we're going to find a paper that's like this. I'm trying to think if I want to may want to do I may want to print the color and pattern instead of doing a thing, but let's go ahead and make the foil layer first. This is the Gentleman Wakes theme song. Recognize this song. Okay. It's an awful looking line. I need to fix that. What else, guys? What other questions you guys got? I had thought about making the jokers in the meat deck vegetables, but I couldn't pass up those jokers that we made. I need to save this before it crashes. I hate Illustrator. The funny thing about this playlist that's playing, this is like the decade's most popular songs on this royalty-free site that I use. Well, I pay for it. And so, like, I recognize all these songs from different YouTube videos. Griffin, the puzzle is not available on the website just yet. It'll probably be August, September. I would think August when we have those available. I just got 2 of the samples. Well, not samples. I got 2 of the finished products in the mail. I don't have anything else on the word for the deck for my daughter's friend. We're still working out some stuff with that. I don't have anything about that yet, but we're still trying to figure out. Now that's not very much information, but all right, let's go. Trajan Pro, sans serif. Let's go white. This is gonna be like silver foil. Oh wow, this is one of the most popular songs of the decade. Brandon Sanderson's. I did not know this was on the most popular list. Now, originally I had by Jackson Robinson. I don't think that's quite honest because I didn't illustrate these cards, so I'm not going to put by Jackson Robinson. I'm just going to put by Kingswell Project. Even though I paid for them, I don't necessarily want to mislead people to believe that I illustrated these, because I did not. But I paid for them, and they're mine, and I produced them so I can put my Kingswell Project on it. Oh, speaking of which, Griffin, you said you hope you're able to expand your contributing artist series. Good news, Griffin. June has been doing such a great job. I told her on Monday, I said, I'm giving you a week, and I want you to gather reference and inspiration. And I want you to put together a presentation for me on Monday of the next week of inspiration, of images of a deck that you're going to design for me, a June Hyde deck in your own style or whatever you want, and we'll produce it and make it, and it'll be a Kingswell Project deck designed by June Hyde. And so I'm super excited about that, actually, myself. So, I hope the Fulton thing goes good tomorrow. I'm kind of halfway, kind of 50% liking the back design that we're doing right now, the most recent one. I really like that first one a lot, but he doesn't like it. All right, let's put the bottom text on here. Designed, well, I can't put that. Let's see. Playing cards by. What is it? What am I gonna say? I have to put this differently now that I'm not. Playing cards designed and produced by. Oh, Katie, I'm using it. I told Brad, I said, bro, you overthink this stuff way too much, Brad. That first design was awesome. And I told him, if you don't like it, I'm going to produce it anyway. So you just gotta know I'm going to use it. Playing cards. Got to reword this. Missed Brandon. I don't know how I'm going to say this. Yeah, watch her make like an Iger deck or something. A Geiger deck. Let's see. Playing cards. I hate doing this stuff because that's out of the normal thing. Playing cards. Designed and produced by. Okay. King's Wild Project. King's Wild Project. Let's go semi-bold. Inspired by Brandon. I'm gonna do capitals. Brandon Sanderson's inspired by the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. Relax, Katie. I know it's off center because I got to put my logo over on the side. Golly, Katie. Let's see. I got a lot of junk I got to put on here. Manufactured by EPCC in the PRC. It sounds so stupid, but it's the only way to do it really short. try to get some separation. Playing cards designed and produced by Kingswell Project, inspired by the Mistborn series. Wait, inspired by the Mistborn series. I don't want to say by twice. Let me say written. Playing cards designed and produced by Kingswell Project, inspired by the Mistborn series. Written, is that how you spell written? 2 T's? Written. But I have to put written by. Is there a way I could say that differently? Inspired by the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. Maybe not. All right. Playing cards are designed and produced by Kingswell Project, inspired by the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, manufactured by EPCC in the PRC. Okay. I think that's good enough. Let's make some separation lines here. I kind of need to put, I want to put on there. See, I'm going to put here officially licensed playing cards designed by. Is that how I spell licensed? I don't know. And by the time the delay gets to you guys, I'm going to already have Googled it. Licensed. L-I-C-E-N. Yes, that's correct. Officially licensed playing cards designed by Kingswell Project, inspired by the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, manufactured by EPCC in the PRCC. Inspired by the Mistborn series. Okay. Well, let's put some separation lines in here. Excuse me. All right, is everything spelled correctly, my friends? My grammatically advantaged friends. Officially licensed playing cards designed by Kingswell Project, inspired by the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. Manufactured by EPCC, the PRC. Seems to be. Oops. All right, let's get PRC is the People's Republic of China. Let's see here. I want my logo. Okay. And I got the bottom done. That's nice. It's nice and big. You can read that. Nice. I'm going to group these. I'm going to flip it because it needs to be flipped. So it reads upright when the box is on the floor. Okay, let's take this and Mistborn.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions.
me save this. Now what I want to do is go back and create the texture for this. Okay, my brain is running a little slow this morning, peeps. Jeez, it's huge. Let's go CMYK. Okay. So what I had in mind for this tuck case, I didn't really want it to be just I didn't want it just to be a solid color. I wanted it to be like a texture. So I want it to be like a slate, almost like a rock texture. So let me go to iStock, slate texture. Yep, just like this. This is what I was thinking. Let me just find one that I like. And you're not gonna even really be able to tell. It's gonna be very subtle. I like that one. So I want to download this image. Okay, what I want to do is open and slate. This is a good song. Let's play this over again. I like this song. What is this? We're going to add this to our playlist here. Dawn's Early Light. Let's take it back. Alright. So, going to pull this out of the background. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to have like this gradient. I want to have this gradient of blue. Let me open up the back design here. I want to get this same blue that I'm kind of using on the back design. It's very purple though. So I'm gonna open this up, make a new layer. Like that. Let's put on multiply. We're getting close. We're getting close. I just want to have like this blue tinge gradient to it. Let's put that on overlay. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I see in my brain. And so on top of that will be, let's see here. The idea is for it to be like that. And that'll be like silver foil. Okay. Good song. Let's add this to the playlist, man. Some good ones coming up now. Okay. Now, I want the inside of the tuck case to be that same really cool, busy, marbled paper that's on the box. So I need to open that book box up. And hopefully I've got it still separated. It's a great song. Come on. Give it to me. Give it to me. Let's save this one. Let's go save as Mistborn Tuck Outside Final. Let's take this, trash it, and then we'll flip the die line. It's a sweet song. Then I want there to be a gradient, so like it fades darker inside the tuck case. That's a good song. Who's that? Kilrude? That sounds familiar. Let's play some more of their songs. one's already manic. I like this guy's music. A little bit of dubstep, but not too much, because a little too much dubstep can be a little bit annoying. All right, let's save as Mistborn Tuck Case inside. Final. Okay. I think I'm pretty much done. Tim took some pictures for me for us to comp together these images. So let's try to find those right quick. Product shots. Mistborn blanks. Okay. All right, let's take these cards off here. I'm gonna go ahead and comp them on there first, then I'll go back and show what's gonna be foil and stuff. Oh, Adam, I have something very special for you for your birthday when you come and see us. Oh, so he's the guy that did this song that we like so much. It's turned out to be a pretty sweet deck, if I so say myself. What the heck? Oh, see? I'm glad we went back and checked it because this thing's not right. I'm gonna do one like this, and then I'm gonna do one. Oh, that's cool. One that's even more dramatic, so I can really show. And what I'm trying to show them is like, this is what's going to be foil. Let's save this. Let's go save as. Put these in the Mistborn folder. Let's go. Final comps. Let's go. Spades. Dark foil. JPEG. Then let's turn off this. Turn off this. And then we'll do save as JPEG. Let's go final comps, spades, spades normal. Okay, let's get some more tunes going. Let's put all these in a folder. Call it. What's up, C-Dub? What? 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 Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. listen, ice is back with a brand new invention. Something's got a hold of me tightly, flows like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. To the extreme of my vandal, light up the stage like a jump with a candle. Damn. That's funny. It's gonna look sweet. What's that? That's weird. It's the ghost in the shell. So true, C-Dub. So true. But I gotta carry on. I gotta carry on and get finished and do a good job. I can't suck it up at the end. I hope we sell a bajillion of these decks. Okay. 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 What? Be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom right quick. Excuse me. What? What's up, bro? Why are you in pain, man? Why are you in pain? Justin should be here. I think. I guess you'll just have to. I'm not sure when you're gonna be here. Justin's closing on his house today. I don't know, but you can still bring him goodies, and I'll just eat them. Come on. Crap, where'd it go? All right, let's take a look at what we got here. We got the Joker, clubs, diamonds, hearts, spades. Tuck case. Okay, I think that that's it for me today. I'm gonna just put these together in email so I can send to the Mistborn people. But anyways, probably back today, later. Thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of the day. I will see you guys when I get back. Thanks a lot for joining me. See ya.